Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. It is I, Badger, back for some more League Lads Plus Season 4 action. On the Radiant side, we have the Badgers Xiao though a team that is tagged up as we are literally five lobsters. On the dire side, it is the Yami fans, with a smiley face, of course, because, we got a nice little friendly, happy environment tonight. Of course, both teams go in. They've been playing real well so far in this tournament. These could be our top two teams in the group, it appears. If it goes 1-1, it actually will be our top two team, I believe, by my accounts. Well, I'm not running the Lads Plus Season 4, it's not really my thing, so I'm more of a commentator, and only a commentator for this one, so. Yeah, it is going to be a little fun friend match here. Of course, Jim and Hobbs in particular are probably your two closest relations in this case. But I'll say it's mostly a friendly back and forth on this fine evening. I do want to talk about a conversation though. So yesterday, I was talking with Neff, of course, good friend of the channel. My commentator yesterday. And we're talking about names, of course. You know, choosing names. What kind of titles do you go with? What do you name yourself? I think I was thinking about the topic. And there really are not that many names in Dota that are truly awful in the way that like actual literal names sometimes are. And here is maybe my strongest evidence for that, in terms of, people choosing names better than actual names. So, a long time ago people had funny sounding names. There was a baseball league in 1884 called the Union Association. And there was a team in that the number two team in the league is a team out of Cincinnati called the Outlaw Reds, and three of their four best players had names that are just absolutely hilarious. Number one guy was a guy called Jim McCormick, James McCormick, normal name, of course. Yeah, obviously can't call Jim a bad name. There's a Jim in the lobby, big fan of Jim, but here are their next three players, and their next three players have the next three best players have the following names: Dick Burns, Jack Glasscock, and Fatty Briotti. And you just don't see names in esports that bad. Like Dick Burns and Jack Glasscock. You just can't make these things up. These are hilarious names. Like you just don't really ever see names in Dota, especially at professional Dota level, that are just that bad names. Those are just hilarious, and those are actual names. Parents name their children at the time, didn't have the same connotations as they do nowadays with these names, but it's still hilarious looking back at like, ha, come on now. These are names you just don't call your kid that. And of course, I in my line of work deal with some very unfortunately named children sometimes. It's like, man, lucky you do. We do have an actual Dota series on our hands though, beyond the topic of naming people. And to name the heroes that have been banned and picked. Shadow Demon, Visage, Lion, Pangolier, Nyx Assassin, Tusk, Clockwork, Puck, the bands. 8-pick Invoker, 9-pick Luna. If I am Snilork right now, I am banning probably a hero like Oracle. The obvious ban, of course, would be Shadow Demon, but that one's already banned out, so you might as well ban out the Oracle. They didn't ban out the Oracle though, so it's a good chance to speaking of. Enough. So they're going for the Sand King instead. They can go for a Oracle 16-17 if they want. I'm already a huge fan of this Radiant side draft. They have Rojo Fireflu drafting for them now, which is, I don't think that was true yesterday, but honestly, I had other things in my mind yesterday. Turns out when you're just talking to the void and not actually holding a conversation, it's a lot easier to look at like the screen. I probably should have gotten a commentator today to join me, but I didn't feel like asking anybody, so I didn't. I simply didn't. This is gonna be a fun game already. I can tell from the heroes already. This is gonna be a fun game. It's not gonna be some like mamby pamby sit around hit the creeps game for too long. Because Radiant are going to do a classic sort of buy a couple items and run the train draft. Dire might be shoving it down before that even happens. You know, you group around with the Voker, with the Shadow Shaman. You simply play your Dota 2 before that even, so we'll have to see about that one. It certainly could be a game that goes and really gets hot very quickly. I believe it'll be Tint playing the Sand King. I'm curious to see how Tint itemizes, whether it be like a Blink first, or maybe he's going to go for like more like a Bloodstone type item first. I have no idea. I'm very curious to see what happens here. I suspect the tempo of the game might want him to go for a Blink first. It's only 4 heroes selected, but it just feels like a quick game. And notice the ban from Rojo. He banned out Bristle, so he expects a relatively up-tempo. Like, yeah, this team might want to play fast, play quick. We don't want them to do that. Sorry for my water bottle there. I have a little metal top in the water bottle, unfortunately, so if I swing it closed at a rapid enough pace, it's kind of a little ping sound. I guess it is a nice auditory cue that I have hydrated, and the people of Twitch chat also know that I've hydrated. Of course, for those of you out there at home, you too can join me in hydration. Pop back a water bottle, a glass, however you want to do it. I'm more of a glass guy myself, generally, though. I do have an actual metal bottle as well. So what I'm curious about is what is the actual banner here for Yami fans? I know it is definitely Tom from Tom and Jerry, but what is he wearing exactly? Is it like a winter coat of some kind? But then again, what are those shoulder pads? Is this perhaps a reference to Yami? I don't quite know who Yami is.
5 seconds remaining.
Could be anybody. Probably an anime character of some kind. But not one that I'm particularly familiar with as somebody who does not consume a particularly high quantity of anime. It's a great DP pick, I think. Looking to see what role they put these Radiant Heroes on. I suspect offlane Sand King mid DP, but it could still be a mid SK, could be an offlane DP, could even be a sub DP. Jim would be the exact sort of guy who would ask for a sub DP. I know, having played with him, he asked for sub DP. He also wanted me to play sub DP, where it's like, you play it, it's tanky, it does things. We had a overthrow game last night. Me and Jim were queuing overthrow, and we got utterly and completely crushed by a Death Prophet. So maybe it's not even on the mind right now. And there's our Fox hero. I'm more partial to Fox Oracle than I am Fox Dazzle, but I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Dazzle good. Grave hero. I'm sure there's certain situations where you'd rather have the Dazzle than the Oracle, and this might be one of them. That's a little bit unfortunate, though. I'm not happy to see Medusa. I think it's a good pick, mind you. I don't mind the pick from a strategic level, but on a personal level, I just don't like it. I don't particularly enjoy the hero, and I've been seeing a lot of Medusa in both standard lads and in lads plus, and generally speaking, the Medusa games have not been made better and more interesting because of the existence of Medusa. I understand why the hero was picked, mind you, but it is what it is. Radiant ban Beastmaster, Dire ban Enchantress. Both respect bans if you're curious. I suppose both also have meta connotations. Not that I necessarily think Jim's going to really be committed with picking We can get Enchanter Sup with this lineup, but he has been playing much more of these transition to core style heroes. He's been playing Nyx Assassin, he's been playing Clinks, he's been playing, Agadam's Dark
10
Willow.
seconds remaining.
This is a style of hero that Jim has been wanting to play a lot on a team like this, which
5
makes sense.
seconds remaining.
As much as we love the other Radiant players, he is indeed one of the 2 higher MMR players on the team. It is him and it is Rojo, and they are the 10k sort of players, and as a result, there'd be a natural expectation of performance from the 10k players. The Rojo one, I don't really need to elaborate on him. He's Rojo Fireflu. But when you do it out of support role, you need to be a little more creative
10
sometimes.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dire ban out Winter Wyvern.
Radiant team.
Honestly, not a bad ban. It could be a Gym. I suspect it's a Fox Dazzle, but if it is a Gym Dazzle, then a Wyvern pick would be very logical. I'm of course referring to logical, the the intellectual concept, and not logical, the Dota player who has done very well in Pats Plus. Oh no. Okay, so they didn't ban the AM. And they didn't ban the AM because they were pretty sure. Wait, Fox isn't here. They have got Reed. Whoops. But they said, you know what? We can go and pick an Animage. I mean, if there's any game to pick Animage, this is probably the one, right? You're playing into Medusa. That's a notoriously good AM matchup from core-to-core basis. You're playing against Underlord, and AM certainly can drain the mana of an Underlord. This isn't necessarily a hero who is that threatened by Invoker. You can really counterspell anything from Ogre Magi very easily. So, if there is any game to pick the Animage, this is probably the one. But Animage notoriously has had some struggles in League of Lads. Famous saying is if KU can't play it, referring to Animage, then you shouldn't either. Of course, KU, the 3-time Lads champion, master of many a hero. AM, though, not a hero he's a winning player with. That said, though, one of the few exceptions would be Andy. Obviously, I was commentating Royal Andy a lot this season. And they picked the Animage. And I made the exact same comments. I brought up the KU quote, I brought up Animage, and it happened to work out. So maybe it actually will work out again tonight. Let's do a player like Andy Bendy playing the AM. If you are just joining us, welcome. The game, one of a 2-game series between Badger's Xiao Pangs and Yami fans. We're here for 2 games of 2 games alone. My name is Badger. Hello. I should put Do Not Disturb on Steam, actually, just in case. I don't suspect I'll get messaged, but better to have the precautions than not. If you are curious, so I have some intelligence from the Radiant side. They are planning on playing the Andy Bendy carry more going forward. Of course, if you watch their cast last night with me and Neff, Andy had a very rough game playing the offlane Mars. Proceeded to swap to carry, playing the Alchemist had a fantastic win. So it seems like they're saying, you know what? We'll have Andy not play the offlane anymore. That's something I mentioned during the draft of game 1. Here we go. They run into Medusa right here, right now. Burrow forward, hits on 2. They'll go towards the Lork, and they'll bring him down easily, it appears. He's out of mana entirely, but he's still fighting. It's at the Andy Bandy who goes down. He's got too much tankiness. He starts the Magic Mon, and now it's Tintu's dropping. Snilork finally dies. But it's a disaster. It's 2 for 1, and now look at Jim and Reed. They're both scattering right now. Jim, a.k.a. Salve, 737, scattering to the northeast as Reed runs to the south. Reed will survive. Well, look at Jim. Look where Jim is right now. Back to Reed. He's fighting Plupo. Rojo will not... Wait, what? Huh. I guess I didn't really think about it too deeply that it'll be Rojo playing a mid-Luna. Because you just don't really see that, but I guess it is a mid-Luna for Mr. Rojo Fireflu. I was so caught up in anime, I didn't even think about Luna. We'll see a tip going from teammate to teammate in the Dire side. So, Luna middle. Okay. I don't quite know how it's gonna work, but right now Rojo has got no mana. And he's playing mid Luna. Ooh, Plupo immediately deblocks the block camp. That's unfortunate. Andy mans up. Backs off. Despite the First Blood death, Andy's doing pretty well on CS right now. 7-1 on the Animage. For those who are wondering, if you don't follow these players in particular... But, if you're looking for some of the names that are not the names we're referring to, if you don't follow these players, again, Choppa will be called Reed tonight. So you're seeing the fight top lane right now. Burrow from, speaking of Tint. Reed will barely get away, it appears. It'll be a close call, but he will survive. But meanwhile, in the Radiant jungle, Jim is in danger. But there will be players who are not called by the name that they actually are. Top lane, Sand King, who's tagged up as Ardor. We'll be calling him by his sponsor, Tint, that's his actual name. And of course, same with Reed. The DP will be called Reed and not Choppa. And then the Dazzle player will be calling either Jim or perhaps Rook, but not Salving 37. Despite that being his DPC name for a while, it is a mouthful. And then there's Froggy2 Demon Dog, who will be calling Andy Bendy. So they have 4 players from the Radiant we'll not be referring to as their in-game tags. If you're a fan of actual in-game tags being referred to, then my apologies, but that is simply going to be happening tonight. Blink forward by Andy Bendy, going for Palupo. He's trying to get away, but it should be a correction thanks to the innate on Shaman, the foul play innate. He survives and gets away, so the death was saved. Meanwhile, top lane Reed, who tried to go in for a deuce to kill, perhaps was not so lucky. Now Tint's forced to run away. If you're wondering where Fox is, she will be here for game number 2. Simply could not make it for game number 1 for the series, so she'll be back game 2, and we'll have our actual proper Radiant lineup once again, for what that's worth. Here we go, Andy walks forward. Good blink away. Thought Plupo might go for a spell there, knowing the counterspell is on cooldown, but chose not to in that scenario. He had creeps tanking him on the AM. Could have been a decent bit of damage there, but I suppose AM is a fairly high armor hero. Value isn't quite the highest of all time. They run a Shaman. Shaman turns. Shackles are there. Jim turns into Poison Touch. Andy's manning up. Hobbs is manning up, and the win will be for Andy Bendy. They'll head to Plupo. Plupo is low on the mana. He's got 8-1 charges, but there should eventually be a death. He'll actually wand up, so no death on Plupo. The innate is still is on cooldown from earlier, the foul play, but he simply walks away, and, well, he just gave death twice now in this game. Meanwhile, mid lane, we got Mr. Fireflu. Actually might kill the Invoker very soon at the rate he's currently going. Invoker has a relatively low HP remaining, so be a little bit careful, but with the Cold Snap, Eric is just also going to win this fight, perhaps. Needs 2 more right clicks. There's 1. There's 2. Rojo pops the Fairy Fire. And he'll bottle up and walk away. It's a bit of a chaotic mid lane, this Luna versus Invoker matchup. You just don't see that ever, really, so it's not quite what you expect. Meanwhile, top lane, again, there's brawling going on there as well. SK is low, and notice that Luce is very low on mana right now, but she does have 6-1 charges, so there's the opportunity to turn it on around and play more Dota 2 still. And once again, fight middle lane. Rojo turns. Eric tanks the creeps. He knew that Invoker was tanking the creeps. Rojo had a fantastic awareness in that situation, but he lacks the mana for Lucent Beam. He's got 2 stick charges. He can perhaps stick and loosen beam here, but will not fully commit for the dive, knowing he still lacks the damage. Again, it's only after reduction about 160 damage, not to mention the range drop, so that's simply not a kill for Mr. Fire Flu. There's a light brawling going on in both side lanes. Appears like though that Reed will die though in the top lane. S10, the Ogre Magi, secures the kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, Rojo overstayed his welcome. He got solo killed by Eric. It's a big heads up play there from the Voker. I guess Cold snapped him and hit him, and with that 91 damage by the double Wraith Bands, it's simply a kill. The Wisdom Runes will be spawning soon. In 25 seconds. You know, Jim has been a big rune stealer so far this tournament. He's been non-stop invading, non-stop taking, and he's getting scanned. He's still gonna run over though. He's not afraid of dying. Actually, he smells it out. I'm not sure if he had vision or what, but he smelled it out like, all right, I'm a Dazzle. I have no lockdown. He's a shaman. He's got 2 of them. I cannot get this rune if he's going for it. And obviously, Plupo was there. As a result, it is, I'm so sorry about missing that kill. Eclipse is used by Rojo Fire Flu to bring down Eric mid lane. I don't know how I missed that one, but we have Jim on the rotation. That's former Green Esports teammates teaming up for the dive mid lane for S10. S10 is low, though not quite dead. Hit comes in from Hobbs' Underlord. Ignite flies. Now it's Dazzle who's dropping. One more hit might do it, but again, the Loosen Beam will slow. Problem is, it still does not stop the kill. Meanwhile, top lane, they dove for Medusa to bring her down. Ahead to Shadow Shaman. And he's in a lot of danger right here, right now. And Booker TP's top lane. Pupo is standing his ground. Tornado hits one for the EMP on the floor. Pupo dies to Sandstorm as Eric looks to clean things up and can find some vengeance. One time as you've lost 2 of your teammates, there's nobody here. They're unable to come to the top lane because they've all died recently. Not a great fight, but we're still not done yet. In comes Deuce and Ogre, but our man Tint on the Sand King will back off and get away. Over to the mid lane, we see pings. Though, I don't believe that will result in much of anything. It's funny, these sentries, they barely miss each other. It's extremely close. Top lane, they're ping Tint. The dust has been used. Burrow away by Tint has been used into the fire blast. Hope the cast from Ogre Magi. Dazzle. TP's on in to not only save the Sand King, but bring down the Ogre Magi. Hobbs. Through the Fiend's Gate comes top lane. Suspect from long range will land. That's now 2 kills for 1. The level 1 Exort. Yep, it is indeed a level 1 Exort. 1 point if Exort is enough Exort to play Dota 2. There's a little bit of poking and prodding going on in middle lane, though nothing too much of value. Eclipse has been used by Rojo, but Eric got away this time. Simply no kills this time around. Meanwhile, bot lane, they dove against the anti-mage. The Shaman and Underlord. I don't know if he just got a little bit too greedy farming or what, but the Shaman and the Underlord were ready to bring him down. I believe I've missed 3 kills now of the 16. Not a great percentage, but you know, that's still a B. B minus, I believe, so. Certainly gets a degree, but not what you aim for your percentage of kills caught on screen early game. Pleasant touch from Jim. Blink in by Andy. That'll be a very dead Plupo Shadow Shaman. And there it goes. Dazzle secures the kill. That's now 7 kills for the Radiant side of Xiao Pang. 10 kills for Yami fans. Meanwhile, top lane, we once again are in a fight. Reed is ulti and he's diving. Epi has been canceled by the cold snap from Eric. In TP's Underlord. So Hobbs is here. It's a 4v2. They'll certainly kill the DP. DP will attempt to play Dota 2, but it's Anti-Mage who arrives to Metaboy down Medusa. Problem is Anti-Mage is in danger. In comes Epi from Tint, but it's too little too late. The burrow is missed. Now Tint has all of his spells on cooldown. The dust has been used. And barring a miracle, Tint will not survive. He's juking to the north side towards the Romanta who has a multicast Fire Blast. Meteor flies. Now be another kill for Yami fans. That's a 3-for-1 trade, sure. You lose Medusa. You're not happy about that. But there's absolutely no doubt who won that team fight. It's the dire side of Yami fans. Good rotations in by everybody. That's took the entire team for that one, but it's well accomplished. Put a sub in my chat. 5 for the sub. Thanks to Cool Hands for the sub, the Prime subscription. Really appreciate that one. It's always a good day to see that, and I really appreciate that one, of course. Back to bottom lane. Serpent wards have been dropped. Andy and Jim will hit them. Kind of. Actually, look at all of them. Okay, that's pretty good defense there. The tower remains alive. So Serpent wards were dropped. The siege unit arrived and died, and the tower's still alive. So that's a good day for any mage. Makes this eastern jungle on the Radiant side a little more safe. But of course, with the smoke come the dire side looking to contest. Yami fans man up against Jim as Andy gets zoned away by Plupo. Jim most certainly will die. Eric secures the kill. Meanwhile, Mr. Andy Bendy blinks away. Ogre Magi came through the Twin Gate. His Ignite got blocked by the counterspell, though, so... In that regards, he's A-okay on Animage to simply get away. That bottom tier 1 goes down to Hobbs, and now again, the Yami fans will split the map. They'll return to other lanes, but we're seeing some action mid lane that is brewing. Rojo is hitting the tower as there are 2 dire defenders, Underlord and Medusa. Top lane instead, though, they're going for Tint. Andy links in, man avoids Plupo. Plupo's already dabbing out. Tint's in danger. Look at Grave by Jim. It's a fantastic tornado from Eric. Sanking the fall. Now 1-for-1 trade. Eric, Hobbs, they'll run away. And Reed's running forward as Rojo's a rendezvous from the east side. Eclipse is ready. Now Hobbs will die to the Luna. Back over to Reed. He's trying to find Ogre Magi, but Ogre's kiting him around. Eric will TP away, I believe. That is a Radiant side 2-for-1 win by my count. Now perhaps we will go for this top tier 1 tower. There is no siege unit, but perhaps the siege does not need a siege unit, as again Luna is a siege unit, and then some. That is a 1-for-1 tower trade across the map so far. El Clasico has occurred. Both teams' safe lane tier 1 towers have perished, of course, which is extraordinarily routine in organized Dota at really any level, anything from the top pro level to like a 2K amateur game. You're gonna see a safe lane for safe lane T1 trade around minute 11 or so, a lot of the time. Mid lane Serpent wards have been dropped by Plupo, but notice not all the wards are in range of this tower. It's very unfortunate. About this amount here can hit them. These ones on the far northeastern side cannot. So that's a frowny face. It's a very frowny face Serpent Ward situation right there. A lot of gold goes to Reed and Sand King of Tint, and they did not get that much tower damage there. That's very unfortunate for him there. Looking over at individual hero net worths, there's nothing too crazy and wild there. Luna, Underlord, Medusa, Animage, those are your 4 farmers. And none of those 4 names are all that shocking. Of course, all 4 intend on farming, and I suppose there was a question of whether the Anti-Mage's lane would go well, but it did go well enough, so all 4 of those cores are very farmed. Sand King and Invoker are a little bit more in the poorhouse right now. SK is somewhat okay farm-wise. Invoker a little bit less so. And then, of course, the sups. DP is shockingly farmed for a sup right now. 4K net worth at minute 15. Which I guess isn't that much, but it's more than the other 3 subs who are at 3K and 2.9K, so... You know, every little bit counts. Of course, if you are a sub player, as I have been in recent years, sometimes you'd be very grateful to have 4K net worth at minute 15. As there are probably games where you've had less. Top lane, Battle Fury is finished. Hex from Plupo into Shackle. Sunstrike will hit. Pit Malice is on the floor, but there's not enough maliciousness. Or maybe there is with the Atos from Hobbs. That'll be a kill. I did not know the Atos was finished. Perhaps I should have known that, but I did not know that. As a result, there was enough lockdown. Again, there's 5 different instances of lockdown there, and that was enough to simply kill the AM. Meanwhile, mid lane, perhaps a little bit of overkill, but overkill is better than underkill. Eric goes down to a Epi plus the Eclipse. Look for a counter kill on Jim. Jim is inside that pit of malice, but unlike his brother, he will not fall inside it. Instead, it's Tint who goes in for Hobbs as Rojo dies Plupo. Both perhaps will die here. Grip Swarm hits Plupo as Hobbs is brought down to Lucent Beam from Rojo Fire Flu. Shaman gets away, but the Tower and Hobbs both are not so lucky. Over to Ogre Magi in the dire side jungle. He's running towards that T2 tower mid, perhaps towards the Shaman, but the only running he'll be doing is from the Mortal Coil into the grave. He'll be dead for about a half a minute. As a mega kill streak for Mr. Rojo Fire Flu. Ever since that solo death he had to Eric mid lane, he has not died a single time. He's 5-1 now, and of course he'll look to continue that streak going forward. Top lane, Exo has been used by Reed. Hobbs TP's in. Luna finishes the Manta. Atos, Sunstriker on the way, looking for Reed. Reed will silence one Ogre as the Fire Blast perhaps bring down DP, and DP will take down all that damage from 3 targets. The Underlord, the Ogre Magi, and the Sunstrike from the Invoker. But there's still more fight brewing in the dire side jungle. Eric is invis. Plupo has a ward trap against the Sand King, but he'll burrow outside of it. Shaman tries to live. Dazzle is incredibly low. He's self-grazed. The Midnight should kill him. Meanwhile, over to Eric. He's half HP fighting Tint inside a Sandstorm. Jim finally dies. Over to Sand King once again. He'll perhaps burrow to the west side towards Hobbs. Hobbs takes the Lucent Beam as well. Pit Malice into Tornado hit both onto Manta. Was not timed well from Rojo Fire. He's still running away. Dire focus to Luna. Muna will have her second death of the game. A double kill for Ogre Magi. Now Tint once again burrows away over to high ground. But something from long range. Stretching from short range will work. He's been hexed by Plupo. They'll run down the Sand King. Sand King should die here. Deafening Blast finishes the job. That's a very massive fight win for the side of Yami fans. And Reed still wants to fight. He's respawned into the fight as Andy Bendy looks for the angle. Medusa's low on mana. DP's taking a lot of damage. In comes AM. Looking for them when he's rooted. He's stunned. Oh no, Andy Bendy. That is not the initiation you want. Now your brother might die for that one. I'll take the Atos from Hobbs. Never mind, Jim still runs away. But again, big team fight loss. That won a half-K gold swing. I don't believe all the fight recap deaths are actually even counted on this graph right now, but maybe they are. Even though it was a fight win, though, for the dire side, they are not in a secure position because, again, you have this hero right here on your screen, Luna. And it's other hero on the screen as well, Mr. Anti-Mage. And, they're going to be a problem at some point this game. They're going to, of course, farm. And almost certainly out-farm your team. I do want to point out, though, look at the neutral item that Andy Bendy has chosen. He chose the Grove Bow, which is a very uncommon item to see on a melee hero. Of course, it does give 20 attack speed, as well as the passive magic resistance reduction. Not that AM really wants that much, but you see it a lot more often with the reverse, where you'll see, say, you'll see melee heroes buying the what's it called? Not reverse, but sort of with Specialist Array. Specialist Array is not one of those items you generally see more in a ranged hero than melee hero. But that one has, I think it's like +6 all stats. It's a lot more commonly seen versus this Grove Bow on a melee hero sort of thing. But, you know, Andy Bendy, he's a bit of a mad scientist, likes to mix things up sometimes, and says, you know what? I'd rather have this 20 attack speed than my other offerings, so that's what Bendy goes for. We see Pit Malice plus Atos used against Andy Bendy, but with no Sunstrike, there is no kill. I don't believe that would have been enough damage anyways. It would have been about, I think, about 30 damage shorts, so no kill. Meanwhile, top lane... Oh no, Andy. So he overstayed his welcome. There's no doubt about it. Not quite sure why he was still there, knowing he was as low as he was, but you know, overstayed his welcome. Sunstrike this time hit. Now bot lane going for a counter kill on Medusa. Will tank the Epi. Manta has been used to try to run away. Shaman arrives. And Medusa barely lives, and now will turn on Tint. And Tint could be in a lot of danger. Clips comes through from Rojo. Fire Flu. Tint is barely still alive. Sunstrike from long range is perfect. What a great play from Sunstrike from Eric. And now Reed and Rojo will attempt the fight, but there is a bit of malice. DP so low right now. Reed certainly will die as Plupo blinks forward with the shackles against Rojo as Jim gets caught by the Atos from Hobbs. Double kill from Eric. Jim will grave himself. But to what effect? Absolutely nothing. Triple kill for Invoker. Another rout in favor of the Yami fans. It's a 4,000 net worth swing. Count it 4K. So this is our trend. Radiant, they farm faster. They farm the creeps, then they lose the fight. They farm more creeps, they lose the fight. If I'm playing on the Radiant side, if I'm on this Badger Xiao Bang's team, you don't want to know what I'm doing? I am not fighting under any circumstance for a very long time. I want Manta on AM. I want, I don't know, Hurricane Pike, BKB on Luna. I want more Blink on Sand King. I want a lot more items before I do anything again. I am not interested in interacting with the enemy team. And I'm sure, knowing Jim the way I do, knowing Andy the way I do, knowing Rojo and Tint the way I do, there's absolutely no doubt that they are going to say, you know what, guys? You know what time it is? It's rat time. They're big ratting enthusiasts. They'll play the macro game. They'll play the eco game. Meanwhile, on the dire side, they have to know this is coming. But again, Hobbs, who has been described as the macro genius, of course, will be ready to play the up-tempo style. But by having Underlord, you can still split the map and farm, and then you can Fiend's Gate over to the team fight. Speaking of team fight, mid lane, they want to go in for Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage gets away, though, with the Blink and the Manta. Perhaps Dire will siege that middle tier 1 tower. And they will. T1 is dead. Medusa gets the last hits. But again, look at this macro style. It's farming time. He's in the Dire tri-camp on Anti-Mage. Sand King plays bottom lane. He's being gone on. Blink Shackle from Plupo into the ward trap. But is it a kill? Sunstrike will be there, but this is nowhere near enough damage. He'll burrow to the south side. Is there a dust? No, there is not. There's a sentry ward, but no dust. Instead, Tit simply blinks to the east side and TPs away. Bit of a hard kill to get for the side of Yami fans. The execution was not perfect, and it probably needed to be if there's any chance of a kill there. That's the thing with Dota. Again, Dire, they executed that pretty well, but pretty well is not good enough for that kill. And, you know, Dota is a game of very thin margins. One might say it is a game of inches. I stand by that. So we're seeing pings towards the Tormentor. Perhaps we will see a Tormentor take in the very near future. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Jim is... I don't know what he's doing, but he is doing it. I suppose it is that macro split the map style. You know, shades of vintage AUI 2000, perhaps. You play in these very aggressive spots on the 4-sup or on the 5-sup, and you say, you know what? If I die, who cares? My death is not worth that much gold compared to my core teammates. And look at them. They can now grab the much more safe farm. Mid lane, Eclipse Burrow have both been used in great connection. And as a result, it will combine to get a kill on Hobbs' Underlord. Of course, Underlord is never an easy hero to kill, especially with that Pipe of Insight. But again, Eclipse plus Epi is a lot of damage, so mission well accomplished. Big kill once again. And notice, we've been mostly doing, you know, little skirmishes, little pickoffs, no set-piece battle team fights. And because of that, look at the graph. And once again, you see team fight goes down, team fight goes down, but no team fight swings back up in favor of the Radiant side. Which, again, if you're Dire, you're going to get more and more concerned as time goes on. Sure, you have Medusa, who's a notoriously good late game hero. Here's some other good late game scaling heroes as well, but this Radiant team will simply outscale you. There is no way they don't. Roshan's under attack, Dire are aware, Sunstrike scouts, and here we go. Stone Gaze is activated. Ours, oh no, I thought it might work, but no, instead it's Roshan going to the Radiant side, Aegis to Rojo Fire Flu. Jim will perhaps die on the east side of the fight, but Exo is still active. Reed looks to lifesteal on up. He's taking a ton of damage though. Eventually he'll die. So it's 2 supports for Roshan. I believe Radiant are okay with that one. Securing the Rosh kill and the Aegis for only 2 sups. They did lose a Reed and they lost Jim, but I guess they'll also lose that T1. Perhaps actually Dire won that. So, I mean, sure, you lose Roshan, but the compensation you're getting is pretty significant. That's a tower and 2 kills and some decent map positioning. Only problem is, again, we see a bit of rat Dota going on. Rojo's very deep farming. Andy's very deep farming. That's just going to happen. It's not easy to bring down these heroes. They're just going to farm. And that's our story of the day is what do Dire do to stop this? And I'm not quite sure they can. Lockdown is pretty mediocre. Despite decent itemization towards lockdown, there's still not that much lockdown. You have Shaman Blink, you have Underlord Atos Pits. Again, if somebody is locked down, Invoker and Ogre can contribute to that, but ugh, that's not really enough. Here we go. Blink, Epi finds the Shaman. Pupo is very, very dead. Tint secures the kill, and now Reed runs towards Eric. Glimmercape keeps Reed alive for now as Jim tanks the Pit of Malice from Hobbs. That's a 1-for-1 trade via the Sunstrike to finish off the kill. Now Radiant retreat back to their bases. Andy is really pushing it in right now. Look where Andy is. He's in the Dire high ground. He blinks away. Look who TP back. It's Invoker and Medusa. These heroes do nothing. And now Andy. He'll Manta. He'll blink. But where's the lockdown? It doesn't exist. Instead, he'll just keep running away. So Andy's fine. Meanwhile, Rojo goes in for S10. Eclipse is ready. Isn't even needed. No, he's holding it. Good discipline from Mr. Fireflu. And as a result, as BKB is done, his kill has been secure, with a little help from our friend Tint. Despite being down 16 kills to 30, there's absolutely no doubt who is in the driver's seat. It is the Radiant side. Middle lane, they'll go for Tints. It's Invoker and Underlord. The damage is sufficient. That's a good kill there for the side of Yami fans. Meanwhile, top lane, they're diving for Plupo. Plupo's on the run. In comes Hobbs to defend. With the pipe, again, Underlord will run on forward. T2 tower goes down. Underlord's still running forward. Invo, Shaman, and Medusa are also here as well. EMP's on the floor. They'll drain the mana from Rojo Fire Flu to BKB and TP just in time. There is no cancel for this situation. And now they'll move to Reed. They'll certainly bring him down, but again, not the kill you wanted. You still lose your tower. But again, across the map, you do get 2 kills. One on the more important Sand King, one on the less important DP. I'm actually kind of curious why Andy Bendy has opted for the MKB. I know the idea here is because it's Butterfly and Medusa. You really want to just lock her down, but I feel like I don't know if you really need that MKB to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Andy just knows the hero better than I do. It's almost certainly the case, but I know I personally would have liked an alternative item. We're seeing split action right here, right now. Mid lane, there's action there. Bot lane, Andy Bendy's completely fine. Back to the mid lane once again. Tint will get away. So nobody dies anywhere, but perhaps some brick and mortar via the tier 2 tower. Dire now retreat. Radiant pursue. Blink burrows off the mark, but Tint still hunts. Atos hits Sand King. Underlord, though, has been caught. Ogre backs him up, and now in comes Pitmouth on 3. It's pretty fantastic from Hobbs. EMPs once again on the floor, draining a bunch of mana. Reed and Tints will both end up dying. Double kill for Plupo. Wait, he killed Andy? Wait. So Rome's not gonna look to fight. He's got 2 lives right now, but he's a little bit careful. He's got no teammates. They actually messed up the Aegis timer on that one, but it shouldn't end up mattering. They'll kill him twice in this case. Sunstrike hit, so BKB and TP. Is there a cancel? There's too much. There's not too much damage. He barely survives in the down. So there was 1 second left on that Aegis timer. Dire, they killed him too quickly. Therefore, he respawned BKB and TP. How did Andy die here?
Radiant structures are fortified.
So Andy died. It was Shaman and Ogre. I assumed that Andy was absolutely fine. It seemed like Andy tried to go in for a heads-up play, noticing there was a fight going on mid lane, so he's, you know what, I'll go in on these subs, I'll get these kills perhaps. Instead, hexed, shackled, fire blasted, and dead. Notice I don't know, man. This is, I mean, Sunstrike is all I guess. Oh, man, that's not what you want to see. Not what I expected from Andy Bendy. And that's, again, why I mentioned why I personally might go for a different item. And this is the exact reason why is, you know, it's lack of durability. Sure, you do the damage to Medusa, but is dealing with Medusa your #1 problem on Animage? Because, again, your hero will naturally do that. I personally am of the philosophy of, you know, you can't do damage if you're dead, and you know, perhaps that could have been an Abyssal Blade or a Lincoln's. Both give some durability, of course. Perhaps a Butterfly, again, gives some durability. I don't think it would have helped in that situation. Probably not Butterfly this game. Maybe a BKB even, or a Heart. But yeah, that is not the depth you want to see on AM, and not the fight you want to see for the Radiant side. It could have been worse. Rojo made a good heads-up play to get away, but man, that is simply not ideal. Making sure I have nobody muted right now. I do. I have nobody muted. Perfect. Didn't want to miss any all chat, if there was any all chat. I know with confidence I don't have the Radiant muted, but there are 2 teams in a Dota game. Apparently there is grocery delivery going on. I don't know if it's Reed getting the grocery delivery, or perhaps I'm going to ask Andy. I'm going to ask who's getting the grocery delivery as the people. And by the people, I mean me. I want to know. I personally want to know. I'm a naturally curious person. I like answers to questions. Even if they don't even need the answers to them, I like having them. And also, you know, what grocery is this? Is, you know, is this like a Walmart delivery? Is it Peapod? Is it like an Amazon Fresh thing? I don't know who exactly is delivering here. I can change everything. I know a lot of these places nowadays have delivery services. You know, a lot of them trying to roll it out you know, around 2020, 2021 or so. So a lot of them still have it on staff. Which is funny. I worked at a Stop and Shop at the time. It's a supermarket in the Northeast, and they actually plan on rolling out their delivery / pickup service at my individual store around, it was like January of 2020. Like, COVID was a thing at this point, but nobody, you know, obviously we weren't locked down yet. And it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna launch this real soon. We're gonna launch this department. Of course, it's very conspicuous timing because, you know, right as we're locking down, it's like, all right, we're just launching our service. And of course, they had me on the pilot crew of that team. I initially was just some guy, but after one of my managers got promoted, I got promoted to assistant manager of the department, kind of. And you know, I was the 1 day manager. It was a fun time. I would basically I would do the basically I had my actual boss, the department head, who did like daytime stuff from like, you know, like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then basically every day she would hand it over to me, and I would close the shift. I would go I usually arrive around 1 p.m. and I would go like 1 to 9. And then on her one day off, I would be I would show up at 6 a.m. and I would do the day shift, which was obviously not fun for my sleep schedule, but it was always fun to do that and do that grocery stuff. I would say assistant manager department. That's probably an accurate title. We are back though. Apparently it's Reed. So according to Andy Bendy, my insider in the lobby, Andy Bendy, it was Reed who got the delivery of groceries. So if you're curious who's being well fed, it is Reed. Congratulations to our good friend Reed, of course. A friend of the channel, member of Royal Andy, of course. We are finally resumed. Tier 2 tower mid goes down. I know when I personally play Dota, what ends up happening is I lose focus during a pause. And the same is true of when I'm casting. Obviously, I'm not playing. I was curious to see if, for example, if Rojo remembers the game state, like, hey guys, they might be running at me. They've caught Rojo, the Hex, the Meteor, the Shackles, the Sunstrike from absolute short range. Point blank, Sunstrike does not have to do the job. He's godlike on Invoker. I was gushing over Rojo's stat line earlier, but right now it's Invoker who's stealing the show. He's 11, 2, and 18. By far the best stat line in the lobby right now, and perhaps Eric will be the man who carries his team to victory right now. This is fantastic. I was lamenting the lack of money on Invoker earlier, but times, of course, changed there. He's number 4 in net worth, and his impact is certainly higher than his net worth indicates. I mean, he actually is buying a Hex. I was mentioning the lack of dire sign lockdown. Hex perhaps will solve that. That said, though, of course, Radiant are aware of the lockdown that is being purchased. Andy Bendy is purchasing a BKB. It's on his courier. And he'll be ready to go very, very quickly. Hopefully, notice this decision here. Hold that thought, me, because Yanking's dead bottom lane, surely. He'll burrow to the north side, on the left steal off. Grave comes in from Jim. Flupo dies heavily. Epi comes in from Tint. Tint's still living, and now they'll bring down the Shaman very quickly. Hobbs runs forward. Plupo still, I think, to the facets. Correction, the innates. Now it's the Stone Gaze from Snalork to go towards Reed. Reed eventually will get run on down. Dust comes in from Plupo. Double kill for Snalork. And finally, Tint, who somehow survived the entire fight it's being run at. Andy Bendy blinks in. BKB's looking for Dusa. Dusa has no mana. Mana Void's huge! It one-shots Dusa! It's a blink away play by Andy Bendy. Tint burrows forward. Double kill for Sand King. And Rojo's running forward for more. He smells the blood in the water. Meanwhile, though, it's Tint who has been caught. Sunstrike's down by Eric. He's beyond godlike. Fantastic fight from both sides. A little bit of a barn burner. I believe it was Radiant who won that, but it could have won either way, really. It's a pretty even fight. Now here we go again. Andy blinks in. He's going into the Invoker. Invoker has absolutely no mana, but Mana Void is on cooldown. Rojo fires with the Palupo. Palupo killed him. Meanwhile, Andy Bendy might even have to the Fire Blast. He'll blink for Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi has the Flame Shield. Andy barely kills him. He's got 100 HP. Double kill for Andy Bendy. Now at this point, Palupo is brought down by DP and Dazzle. In what was a relatively even team fight, it's no longer even. It's a full 5-man wipe for Xiao Peng. If you are a If you're a Radiant Team fan as I am, you are excited. Of course, I'm no longer preying on the downfall of the Dire team like I was yesterday with the opponents of Xiao, but I am still, of course, rooting for one team over the other in this case. And I'm not supposed to be biased, but of course, you know, I have some very good friends on the Radiant team. Like, sure, I don't dislike the Dire team, but I've never gotten Boba Tea with the Dire team, so, you know, I think you know where my loyalties lie. Well, over to our good friend Roshan, who's back. Both teams know it. Though neither team has committed to the take quite yet. Butterfly has been purchased by Mr. Bendy. We see Snalork TPing into the outpost. He's nearly 25 on Dusa, but not quite close enough. Dire smoke over. We see Eric on the north side. The remainder of the team a little bit lagging behind. Now Radiant Smoke on 3. Since joins the smoke. Dire are now in the pit. Sunstrike has been used for damage. They want to kill it rapidly. It's already so low right now. Radiant are on the way. They're too slow. They're too slow. What a great take by Yami fanboys. And now Aegis goes to Dusa. Banner goes to Ogre. And it was a right idea from Xiaopang's. But too little. Too late. One might say a day late and $1 short. AM walks forward. It burrows Shaman. What is going on in this fight now? This is chaotic as all hell. Shaman will barely live. Sandstorm was not in range to kill him. They're still hunting. Andy Bendy is inside that pit of malice. So BKB's read. Thanks to Atos. Sunstrike will bring down the DP. And now we're running away again. We've used the BKB on the AM. We've used the life of the DP. And they've lost absolutely nothing of value on the Dire side, but a little bit of cooldowns. Yes, the foul play innate would be the big one, but... oh, man. We're now heading to high grounds. Dusa, of course, leads the way. Underlord by his side. Banner has been placed, and Radiant will struggle to kill it. Luna is, of course, the best bet, but... easier said than done. The wards have been dropped. The tier 3 top is dead. Pit of Malice hits 2. We're, of course, headed for barracks. Range racks are dropping. Sand King barely lives. Is there a Sunstrike? There is. It's available, but it will be used. Never mind, no one. Because meanwhile, in the roll Radiance, they've got an exchange. Because look what Andy Bendy did. He ratted it out. He grabbed the melee racks mid lane, and now he's TP'd back. He's hunting for kills, though the TPs were away in time. So, we see the actual siege bottom lane. Not bottom, this is top lane I'm looking at. I mean, it succeeded somewhat, but they did not kill the melee barracks. They damaged but did not kill the ranged barracks. They only got that tier 3 tower. And in exchange, AM simply outsieged them. Look at this. Look at this base. There is base missing in this base. What a good rat play by Andy Bendy. And of course, there are many good rat players in the League of Lads, but there might not be a better one than Andy Bendy. He is perhaps Scurrius, the king of rats. He is a real rat individual. He's very good at it. You know, firsthand, I've seen it in action. You know, we played a lot of BO3s in playoffs with the Herbivores. We had a lot of game 3s where we were behind, and you know how we came back in a lot of those games. It was the Andy Bendy ratting action. Oh, this time Andy is forced to TP away. Takes a lot of damage on his way out, but it's better to take damage and use your BKB than it is to die, of course. here we go again. Bottom lane, there are eyes on Hobbs. Hobbs in a lot of danger. Pit of Malice has been used into the Fiend's Gate. Is there a cancel? No, there is not. So Hobbs gets away, and now Dire run it down the middle lane. Dusa went through the Fiend's Gate both ways, and that, once again, hit to the base. Serpent wards have been dropped. The Luna stands her ground. The T3 is dead. Manta Wave has been used by Rojo. But this time, the buildings will die. Melees are dead. Range jacks are dead. But look at Andy Bendy! He's ratting again! He's forced the shaman back. There's the Hex. There's the Shackles. But there's no follow-up. Meanwhile, on the Radiant base, in comes Rojo with the Eclipse in Epi from Tints. Underlord certainly will die. Meanwhile, AM goes in for Shaman. Hex is there. AM still hunting. Meanwhile, on the Radiant base again, we're surviving on Tint somehow, some way. Dusa now BKBs and TPs away. Back to Animage. He kills the Shaman. He kills the tower. He's going for Barracks. He'll perhaps look at the range racks or perhaps not. Regardless, he's forced a buyback out of Hobbs' Underlord. It's absolute and utter chaos. I believe Dire may have lost that engagement. They got a Rax and a half, but they still lost a Rax in one lane and a buyback on Underlord. It's hard to tell who won that. It really is. Maybe Dire won that. Maybe they didn't win that. But it's an incredibly tense game state right now. Good scam by Dire. That's a very good scam. That's going to save Hobbs. Whoever scam that was has saved the life of the Underlord. Therefore... Wait, what? Jim? He Graves, walks in, walks away. I suppose looking for information. I mean, he acquired information. That's not the play I expected. I'm honestly kind of shocked that worked out for him, but... it did work out for him. That is one of the more... I mean, Jim's gone for a lot of these hero plays playing this season of Lads Plus. Certainly one of the more odd ones, but it did work out for him, for what it's worth. Dire kill a Tormentor. They get a shard on Underlord. Now both Tormentors are dead. Once again. Down the mid lane go Dire. Down the side lanes go Radiance. The equilibrium situation is currently in natural favor of the Yami fans' Dire side. They'll equilibrium mid and top. However, they will be down equilibrium naturally bottom. Therefore, I would expect them to congregate bottom lane. They caught Andy. They caught... Oh, he BKB'd in time. Ooh, that was a close call for Andy Bendy. And he gets away. But we're seeing what I naturally mentioned. Knowing there is equilibrium away from their natural favor thanks to a Rax disparity, they'll run it on down the bottom lane. They'll look to take this little tower here, grab the Rax here, perhaps secure the Megas. Whatever it takes, really. Only problem is Roshan's going to spawn topside. Shield Rune goes to Eric. The Force Staff away. Bit of a ballsy play by the Invoker. Hit comes in. Hits onto... In comes AM to solo kill Shaman. And now it's a Burrow. And Epi. Here comes Tint. He's slowing everybody right now. Stone Gaze was used. Ogre is out of mana. Taken's out of HP. But Ogre certainly will go down. Double kill for Andy Bendy, aka Faragi2 Demon Dog. And now we're again looking for more. Perhaps looking for buybacks. AM. That's the hero we're going to watch here, Animage. He's going to be our perhaps primary building hitter, though of course Luna is pretty good at that one as well. Melee's bottom are the name of the game. Pit of Malice has been used. AM has been engraved preemptively. In comes Rojo. Eclipse is on cooldown. Both tops buy back. It's a 5v5 melee. Sand King buys back. DP has been caught. But notice, Reed is a gem. That's a big loss. So gem lost. We see an exchange of buybacks, but no buildings die. Was there a glyph used? No, there was not. So it's 2 buybacks, a gem, and a kill for... Wait, 1 buyback, a gem, and a kill for 2 buybacks. A relatively equivalent exchange. I don't think either team is all that upset or happy with it. But we're not done yet. Heads up play, looking for dieback kills. Look how deep they are. They're going for Underlord. This could work out very well. There's a mana void from Andy Bendy. That's an incredibly ballsy play to go for that. And now they head for more. Luckily for Ogre Magi, he's invis via the invis rune. That'll keep him alive. Notice, though, there's no buyback on Underlord. It's still a dieback cooldown from earlier. They go to Ogre Magi go down. That's 2 diebacks. And we're going for more. In comes Andy Bendy. Mana Void is available once again. Dusa will use the Stone Gaze as Plupo tries to tackle Tint, but Tint is too tanky, and Plupo is not tanky enough. That's another dieback for the Iron side. That's 3. Count them, 3 diebacks. And look at... Is that... Okay, that's DP. Never mind. But how do you defend? You're fighting 2v5. And if the Radiant are keeping track, they know all the buybacks are on cooldown. And they're gonna go for the throne. Why bother with such feeble things like barracks? Or perhaps they will anyways. I'm not sure why they are, but they are nonetheless. That's now 2 racks taken. In blinks Andy Bendy. Deuce if he can beat some time. But she's still taking a lot of damage. Grave once again is there for Andy. Andy's still absolutely fine. Blink Eclipse comes in from Rojo. And at the mana void to bring down Dusa. And I'll bring down Invoker as well. That's a full 5-man wipe. Eric will buy back, but he's the only buyback. Reinforcements arrive in 30. The throne is not going to live for 30. Glyph has been used, but again, there is absolutely no shot of a defense. Barring the miracle of all miracles, Eric will go in for Rojo. And he's instantly brought down by Sand King Luna and Animage. GG is called, and game 1 goes the way of Badger Xiao Pangs. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, in most, you know, sports, right? In sports, you get more points, you win. If you play, you know, football, either American or international, basketball, baseball, soccer, or not soccer, hockey, you know, more points, you win. Most esports even, you get more points, you know, Counter-Strike, you'll win more rounds, you'll win the game. Valorant, you win more rounds, you win the game. But Dota is one of those two that's a little different. You know, it doesn't matter about things such as gold or even kills, you know, you can be behind and win the game, and you see it here. They're behind by 13 kills, 31 to 44. You know, if you see a score of, I don't know, Browns versus Chargers, and it's 31 for the Browns, 44 for the Chargers, you're thinking, oh, the Browns lost. But this is not American football. This is Dota 2. Kills mean nothing. The objectives, the throne, that's everything. We are going to wait on game 2. I'm a little tired after that one, so I'm going to cut us to a break. Mine's Badger. Actually, no, I'll give it 1 more minute of analysis for fun. Here's the scoreboard. If you want to see the scoreboard, there it is. Things such as damage, given and received. Here's a graph. Here's another graph. It's just something I suspected would happen relatively early on in the game. Is that the Luna, the AM, and the Medusa would distinguish themselves economically. You see these three lines here: AM, Luna, Medusa. Of course, two of them are on one team, one's on the other. It's hard to go for that late game economy into AM and Luna walking into. I am most certainly going to cut to a break, though, between game one and game two. My name's Badger. We'll see you for game two of Badger's Xiao Pangs versus Yami fans in a few minutes.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Dire team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds. Radiant team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Invoker.
10 seconds remaining. 5 Radiant seconds team remaining. Back.
Shadow Fiend.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
All right, greetings and salutations, Dota fans. It is I, Badger, back for game number 2 of Badger Xiao Pangs versus the Yami fans.
Dire team pick.
So I had to respond to a message on Discord, but hopefully I have answered the
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
hopefully I've answered the question sufficiently. Regardless, we have some more Dota 2 on our hands. Game 2 of the, I already mentioned the team names. We do have some heroes banned and picked. Sorry if I'm a little bit lethargic sounding. I'm trying to digest some food right now, but yep.
Radiant team pick.
Tusk, Nyx, Clockwork, Sand King, Puck, Shadow Demon, Visage, Lion, Pangolier, and Medusa are all banned out. We have the return of Fox. She is back. So Reed is gone again. We have our actual 5-man lineup on the Dire side. Should probably put the series score up properly because no one marks the wins, but let me go update that real fast. There we go. We did it. But we have 8-pick Invoker, 9-pick Shadow Fiend, 13-pick Mars, 14-pick Bounty Hunter. I know a lot of these heroes were banned out earlier in the night, so definitely a bit of a mix-up to see them unbanned, but
5 seconds remaining.
But they are here. Naturally, the bounty pick will be a little bit annoying for the dire side economy, but this is one of those teams that really is good about buying detection. They buy the dust, they buy the sentries. They're not afraid to have cores carry dust, which of course isn't very important. Lich gets selected. Yeah, I've actually seen a decent bit of Lich so far this tournament. I'm not 100% sure why, but the teams think it's good, so it's probably good. I mean, maybe it's good in the meta right now. I don't really follow Lich trends too heavily, but I guess Lich good.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Oracle. Ooh, I like this pick. So this is the legendary Fox Oracle that has been selected. Perhaps the best Oracle player in Lad's
10
history.
seconds remaining.
Very strong Oracle player. Very excited to see this one.
5 seconds remaining.
Should be a very, very fun time to see this. A lot of very cool and cozy saves coming in, of course.
Radiant team pick.
And now Zeus selected as well, so perhaps that'll be our core trio right there. SF, Mars, and Zeus.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team back.
And the response is Dragon Knights. Definitely another relatively up-tempo game brewing right now. Seems like it will be a carry DK potentially, but Hobbs is a DK player as well, of course. If it is played carry, of course, it will be the red dragon. But if it's played offlane, perhaps Hobbs will go for a green dragon, even maybe a blue dragon, but probably not. Probably red dragon still. Fundamentally, they're still waiting on the bans. It seems like they're of the opinion that is a carry DK, not a not an offlane DK. Whether or not Rojo and company are correct, we'll have to see.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
And as expected, Radiant are banning on supports, but in last game, they did a mix-up. And people are of the opinion, hey, it's probably going to be a Luna carry. They've already got their cores. They need a sup. And then, like, you know what? We'll put DP sup. We're going to put anti-mage carry, Luna mid. So, if you are Snilork and the Yami fans, you have to expect the unexpected. Turns out Rojo was right. Radiant grab an offlaner, Beastmaster. Dragon Knight will be carry. Almost certainly a red dragon. And now, is it a support? Is it a core? Let's find out. Probably a sup.
10 seconds remaining.
If it's a gym sup, perhaps it'll be Clinks again.
5 seconds remaining.
A lot of the gym subs have been banned out, so I don't quite know what's left. Though, of course, gym is a very wide hero pool. Could be an Enchantress, perhaps. I'm sure Ench versus Beastmaster is always never a bad idea. We are, of course, still waiting on this pick. Got about 40 seconds of reserve time left for Rojo Fire Flu deciding his hero. And by his hero, I mean Jim's hero. Here we go. It is Alina. All right, then. So they may have once again pulled a fast one. Mixed things up again. This time it's in the other direction. It's a Zeus support for Jim. And a Rojo Fire flew mid Lena. I thought Rojo was like, you know what? Maybe I don't like this look of Zeus versus Invoker mid. Maybe I'll just go with the Lena Invoker matchup instead. That puts Zeus as a sup, Oracle as a sup, Mars as the offlane, SF as the carry. And then the Radiant roles are exactly as expected. Carry DK, middle lane Volker, off lane Beastmaster, sups BH and Lich. We are now, we're going in the reserve time. We're not reserve time, the strategy time. We're waiting on game 2, of course. I think I preferred his Radiant draft though. I think they have a very obvious macro strategy. Their draft again, if the Radiant play well, it kind of plays itself. Where you win some lanes, you get some items, you run down the lane, you mash your face across the keyboard, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of a sign of a good draft when the draft just plays itself. Dire draft though does not play itself. You're gonna need some big plays, some strong movements, and good timing. Gonna require a lot of finesse to maneuver on this one. How it'll happen, we shall see, of course. If you are just joining us, welcome to game number 2 of Yami fans taking on Xiao Pang. Yami fans, the Radiance team, are of course looking to make it a 1-1 draw. This is their last chance to make winners. If they lose this game, there's no chance Radiant make winners. It'll be the Buffles team and this Dire team will make winners. If Radiant win game 2, there'll be a tiebreaker situation. I'm honestly not quite sure what the tiebreaker metrics are for the Season of Lads Plus, so don't quote me on that one. But it will be a 3-way tie at 5-3, so kind of a both-win game for both teams as far as I'm concerned. Must-win game, to say.
30 seconds to battle.
We are, of course, moving across the map, but nothing too crazy and wild's happening here. Plupo scouts a little bit out. And look at Andy. Look where Andy's going right now. This is a wait, this is as expected. Never mind. Well, I thought for a second they were playing Radiant side. I don't know what I was thinking. Both teams end up getting 2 bounty runes, so it is an even trade. Notice Jim already has dust. But unfortunately, Jim is not in the bounty hunter lane. Jim is in the other lane. Perhaps Jim could go through the twin gate to rotate towards the bounty hunter. Maybe that'll be the idea at some point. Mid lane it is Invoker versus Lena. Pretty standard lane as far as I'm concerned. Top lane, axes fly and land, but Plupo and Hobbs could not run down Froggy 2 Demon Dog. I think both of our side lanes is going to be where the fun will occur this time. And this SF hero is notoriously not the tankiest hero in the world, so hypothetically you could just die sometimes. And again, bottom lane, another pretty interesting lane there. This DK Lich versus Zeus Mars lane. I would suspect the DK and the Lich win. There's a lot you can do there. There's mid lane. I suspect these heroes would be a lot more interesting post laning things, but after game one, I have to watch this Eric Rojo lane. There were numerous kill attempts in the Invoker Luna lane, but this time around it's a much more standard Invoker Lina lane. Obviously, you know, Invoker Luna mids isn't a very common matchup. Invoker Lina is incredibly common, one that both sides are very familiar with. I know Rojo's played both sides of the matchup a lot. Eric, of course, is quite the Invoker player. I'm sure he's at least somewhat familiar with the Lina as well, if I had to guess. All 6 cores so far are doing A-OK on CS, but that could change rapidly. Things change very rapidly in Dota. I'm scared of this gonna kill for First Blood. You know, there's a lot of very low heroes right now. I don't want to miss First Blood. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be bottom lane. I'm looking at Zeus right now. He's got no regen. He's got very low HP. That's probably our best bet to see a death. Perhaps even deny the tower here, actually, on Jim. He's running towards it right now. Yeah, there he is. So, heroes have no kills, but the Radiant have 1 kill. They've brought down Zeus. Technically. I suppose at that point, that is, a little bit of suicide at that point, though. You're dying on purpose to the enemy tower. That's with intent. Eric kind of gets gone on mid lane by the Zeus Lina combo, but again, it's much more of a bottle fill than a kill attempt for obvious reasons. Not like you're gonna be able to do all that much unless you land an LSA, which, you know, just walking up slowly and landing an LSA on Invoker is easier said than done. Not impossible, mind you, but much easier said than done. One raise from Andy. He'll stick up in a raise again to bring down Hobbs. That's our first blood. Now Plupo's looking for some kind of vengeance, but that's just not going to happen. Good play there by Andy, baiting it up with the magic wand charges, and with that that massive raise damage, doesn't have to bring down Hobbs' Beastmaster. And again, top lane. We see Fox and Andy again combining to bring one down. This time it's Plupo who dies. This time there will be vengeance. The Beastmaster gets to counter kill on the Shadow Fiends. That's solo XP for Hobbs' Beastmaster. Meanwhile, bottom lane, there's some spells being thrown out there, but no deaths in this lane. I did mention I was a little scared of missing some kills bottom. There's not been one bottom lane other than that tower suicide. The only 3 actual kills have been on the top lane. Looking over at CS, seems like, again, we're in a relatively even spot, but looking over at net worth kind of tells the true tale. All the CSs are pretty even. We see SF is taking a bit of an early lead right now, thanks to that first blood money earlier. Though, again, there's not really any massively ahead or behind heroes. One hero is a little behind is Eric, but we saw at game 1, Eric being a little behind in net worth clearly does not matter that much. He was 6th in net worth on the Invoker last game, but he absolutely owns still, so clearly not a massive problem. Meanwhile, top lane Hobbs is alone. One raise missed from Andy. Beastmasters is still running, and the kill is not secured. Now Plupo goes in for Andy, and Andy goes down. The Axe plus that bounty on damage just too much. Now they'll go to the Oracle. Invoker TPing up the Tornado, and Fox eventually end up going down. That's 2 kills for Yami fans. And that's certainly what you want to see if you're a Yami fan's fan. Despite that, though, this game state is still very, very competitive. If anything, Dire are feeling pretty good still. Roar has been used top lane, going towards Zeus, but Zeus turns and stands his ground. That's a dead Beastmaster. Plupo will go in and will secure the kill there on the Zeus via the last hit from the boar. There's a 1-for-1, but you did commit Roar for it. Meanwhile, mid lane, Rojo's going on in. That's the run from the EMP. EMP is a little bit too much for him to deal with right now. Oh, big play from S10. I mentioned in game 1 how it's been a lot of Jim stealing bounty runes, but this time, not only did not steal the opponent's one, he didn't even secure his own, so it's both for the Radiant stuff. It's a big win there. Now top lane, you see Andy being gone on. Oh, the Requiem to the races! That's massive damage. There's no Roar this time around. Now there's no Beastmaster to even yell at anybody anymore. Meanwhile, mid lane, LSA hits from Rojo, Fire Flute towards Eric. But Eric's a little bit too tanky. Instead, it's bottom lane where the action's occurring. But Snark will run away. He indeed is playing the Dragon Knights. A pretty notoriously tanky hero. Over to mid lane again. Lagoon was used by Rojo Fire Flute. Eric is low on mana. Tanks one more LSA. In come the teammates. And they're there just in time. Rojo attempts for the kill. Will secure, but it'll cost him his life, it appears. And there it is. It's both mid laners going down. Rojo killing Eric. But the supports bring down Rojo. Now the haste rune goes to Jim. With Fox TPing in, they'll bring down Plupo. 2 kills for the Dire side. 1 kill for the Radiant side. It's a win there for the Xiao side. Seeing Ping's top lane, perhaps top lane is where the fun will occur, but not yet. Not yet. We are seeing TPs in, though. It'll be Beastmaster with Roar ready, being joined by a smoked up Bounty Hunter Invoker combo. They run towards Andy. That's a bit of a stun stack. Roar into Tornado. And in comes Fox with the save. Arena's there with Eric on the inside. Eric gets annihilated. And now it's Plupo and Hobbs who are on the run. Andy Bendy's courier goes down, but the problem is you are just being run at. Chain Frost is good, but is it good enough? Fox is low, but still not dead, and in come the cores. They're running forward. Axes are still flying from Hobbs. Once more, the race hits Plupo. Plupo remains alive. It'll be only the one death on the Invoker. Nobody else died, despite both teams having some very low heroes there. Apparently, apparently there are a lot of people who really want to see the Radiant side win. If the Radiant side do not win, there will be computers thrown out the window. So hopefully, for the computer's sake, Radiant's convert on this game too. Oh no, Jim. So Jim attempts to get away there on the Zeus, and he attempted to heavenly jump, but unfortunately he was I think he thought he had turned to the north side, but I think he was still mini some of the cold snap, still faced to the south side, pressed his E button, and then jumped into the enemy side. And of course, naturally in the all chat, he's acknowledging, oops. What can you do? What can you do? Well, mid lane is where the fun is going to occur. Dire have 3, but Radiant are bringing 3. Eric is actively in base for Tornado. Hit to EMP will hit nobody, though forced out a heavenly jump from Jim. D-Ward comes through by, I believe, a Sentry Ward, not the Lightning Bolts. Yeah, Sentry Ward there. Right now, again, we thought there would be some action mid. We're back to some relatively passive gameplay again. Plupo will get spotted by a Sentry Ward. He'll de-ward it with his own Sentry Ward. Seems like instead of heroes dying, it'll be structures dying.
Dire's top
This top T1 is not long for life. Meanwhile, there, of course, is that bottom T1, but it's a little more healthy. The Dire Siege unit is already dead. Over to the SF. SF will try to go in for the DK kill, but DK went through the other end of the Twin Gate, so they'll end up getting away. The other guy's Wrath will scout things out, but at this point, the Dire team now know what the Radiant team and us also knew, and that is that the tower bottom lane is free. It is a T1 for T1 tower trade, El Clasico, once again.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Mid lane, there is some action brewing. Eric and Plupo are both invis right now. They're headed towards perhaps the Zeus. Looking at Radiant Vision, they no longer see him, though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
They do, however, see a Lina mid, so perhaps they say, you know what, if Lina's there, then Lina can't be top lane. Perhaps we can go for a bit of a cheeky play here, a bit of a dive, perhaps. Zeus walks towards danger. He'll put Knob's Sentry combo on the floor. He'll put down the Lightning Bolt to get a bit of a D-ward attempt, but the Dire cannot D-ward quite yet thanks to the down hitter and the Evoker being right here, right now. Axes hit, Tornado is sidestepped and dodged, though now it's an Arena. Hitting Invoker, Sunstrike will be off the mark. Spear's off the mark as well, though. Roar stuns Rojo Fireflu, but it's still a dead Eric Invoker. And now, at this point, you have to scatter. You've lost your mid laner. You've lost your Roar cooldown. You need to run the hell away. And there will at some point be a bit of a D-ward at this high ground. We see Fox's courier coming on the way. There it is. Yeah, that unfortunately, the Radiant team didn't get a chance to D-ward this one and all that chaos of the fight. A little bit unfortunate there. This is going to be one of those games where it's going to be pretty difficult to keep up the track. Again, you're playing this Hero Bounty Hunter into Oracle, who again is going to purge. I wouldn't be all that shocked if there's going to be more purges purchased at some point. Definitely a BKB Mars, perhaps a Yules as well. Already a Manta coming on the SF, perhaps a BKB later. So keeping up these tracks is going to prove difficult for Plupo. But we'll see what he does. There are, of course, a lot of computers in the line for Plupo playing well on Bounty Hunter, presumably. Presumably, I should say, but... Hey, we're farming. We're doing a lot of farming right here, right now. We're just chilling. Nothing's crazy is happening. We're just farming. Everyone's farming. Everyone's getting their net worth. Naturally, this has been fairly up to the Dire side. Again, they have some faster farming heroes. They have the SF. They have the Lina. Sure, you do have a red Dragon Knight, but... not the easiest farm time of all time. Meanwhile, top lane, the Arena Luna Blade combo was there from Rojo and Tint to bring down Plupo. Almost missed that kill. Kind of missed the action there, but ultimately a lot of Arsenal was used for a relatively insignificant kill. But again, a kill is better than no kill. We're seeing pings mid, but who is pinging who at this point? Hobbs will dive. The roar is used on Zeus, but in comes Rojo. Now Rojo runs away. Oracle ulti will save Jim. Hobbs is still running forward. I'm not quite sure there will be a Zeus skill, though. Rojo has a DD active. In comes a Requiem. I think only hitting nothing there. But it's still a dead Beastmaster. Sure, the Requiem actually hit nothing, but it zoned away heroes. Again, because the Requiem's over here, there was no gap close in to perhaps save the Beastmaster. And if we end up seeing Fox tip Hobbs, Hobbs will end up all shouting, "Ha." Perhaps a little bit of a bad manner tip there from Fox. Not quite sure the background of why those two might perhaps have beef, but I'm sure there's no real beef there between those two.
Radiant are scanning.
At least I hope not. We see a pretty up-tempo build this game from Rojo Fireflu. He's got the boots of travel, he's got the blink, he's buying an Aghanim's shard. So, the idea is, you know, blink on in, use spell, do damage. I'm sure eventually he will turn that build into a bit more of a hybrid build, perhaps Ags into then some more right-click oriented items, perhaps maybe a Conda as a middle ground item. For now, though, we're fighting bottom lane. They've caught Andy Bendy, and they've caught Jim. Roar will cancel the Twin Gate usage from Jim as the remainder of the team runs at Andy. Jim still looks to do because Andy's being kited around. The Chain Frost will bounce around. As one dead Shadow Fiend over to Zeus. Well, the track wasn't there in time, I believe, but it shouldn't matter all that much. It's still a big win there for the side of Yami fans. They get 2 kills, including, of course, a very important SF kill, who was number 1 in net worth. And they lose nothing. Top lane, Radiant scan, they hit Tint, but Tint will all get his TP canceled at the very last seconds. And now in the 1v4, it will be a very dead Mars. It is a trade, though, offlaner for offlaner. As the remainder of the team killed top lane, it was Hobbs who died bottom lane to Rojo and Fox. The Laguna was unleashed. And the Beastmaster was absolutely sliced alive, but again, overall, that's 3 for 1 across the map. If you include the 2 kills earlier, still a win for Yami fans.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower.
Interestingly, there are no Blink Daggers on the Radiant team. I thought either the DK or the Beastmaster might buy one. So far, neither has. Though, in the latter case of Hobbs' Beastmaster, there will be a Blink purchased relatively soon. And then at that point, perhaps that is the time to run it down as 5, Blink Roar on Beastmaster, and perhaps win some team fights. The dire side, Xiao Pangs, they actually are wary of Radiant's up-tempo ability. Notice they scanned Roshan quite recently, so they think perhaps Radiant could be in the Roshan pits. And honestly, probably the right idea, but the wrong timing. We see a lot of heroes in this area. They could easily duck on in and kill Roshan, but so far that has not occurred. It's maybe not. We are seeing some big pickups, though, across the map. Again, we're seeing Glimmer on Lich, Ags, almost a blink on Beastmaster. We're not all that far from, Actually, we're not all that far from an Aghanim's on Zeus. That'll be nice. We see a blink on Oracle as well, so we're getting some big items. We are now seeing Roshan. I think it barely dies in time. It'll barely die in time. So Roshan's dead on the top side of the map. Hobbs will take the Aegis on the Beastmaster. Now at this point, it's time to run away from the Twin Gate, I suppose. By Roshan time, though, I'm not entirely convinced we are in for a huge amount of action here. Seems like we'll still be doing a little bit of farming, a little bit of Tormentor taking. A little bit of TPing and D-pushing for the Dragon Knight's case. Here we go. Time for the Tormentor. Actually, I don't think it dies. I really don't think it's... Meanwhile, we see DK running for his life bottom lane away from the dire side. Luckily, though, for Snowlork, he appears to be a little bit too maneuverable, a little bit too quick. And he is A-okay.
Radiant are scanning.
I am a little bit afraid this might end up being a farming Aegis, which, you never really want to see. You're hoping that at least Radiant will make an attempt at these Tier 1 towers. If not, perhaps a Tier 2 tower. That'd be sort of the ideal play there. Perhaps you grab the Tier 1, and then either you head top, run it down there, or alternatively, you head bot, Perhaps you control that tri-camp, you maybe try to steal the Tormentor with the tier 2 tower, but again, for now, it's very passive play. Perhaps it was the Beastmaster blink they were waiting on. It's on the courier right now. And then when it comes out, perhaps we'll go. But again, there are no smokes ready. There's one on the courier for Lich soon, but again, this timer, it's tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. It is going down. We've already lost half of the duration. We've taken no buildings. No objectives at all. Just farm. Instead, now we're seeing both teams smoke. Dire smoked as 4, Radiance as 3. Xiao Pangs head into the Radiant side. Yami fans jungle. Yami fans head into the Dire side jungle, of course. A bit of a mirror movement in that regard. Plupo now hits that middle tier 1 tower. From the south side comes Rojo, looking to one-shot down here, but in comes the Roller and Sunstrike to bring down, but no, the save from Fox keeps Rojo nice and healthy. Plupo's already dead. Eric's in a lot of danger. Hobbs died once, now respawns. Perhaps Jim will go down, but it's an absolute disaster fight. Requiem fears away the Beastmaster. Double kill for Rojo, Fire Flew on the Lina, and now we head to Lich, who is speared back towards the Lina. That's not where you want to be. That will be a 4th kill. A triple kill for Rojo Fireflu. And a massive win for the Xiao Pangs. And unlike game 1, this one might end up being a relatively quick game. We see an LSA hitting some of the Lork's Dragon Knights. And in comes a spear. It'll barely miss. LSA once again hits, but DK will survive. Regardless, the game state has gone from bad to worse. The mid-tier 2 has been absolutely broken open. The economy is bad for the Radiant side, great for the Dire side. And again, by my estimation, Dire, the Xiao Pangs, they're content to sitting around, waiting for second Roshan, grabbing second Roshan, and with that one, destroying the entire, not the entire base, but most of this base, at least like 2 sets of racks. And if you are the Yami fans, well, I don't know. I honestly don't know what they do. I suspect the idea will be to 5-man, group it up, try to use your powerful heroes to take some objectives. We are seeing pings towards that bottom tier 1 tower, but again, it just feels a little bit too slow. We're going to need more.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And if they really commit for this bot T1 tower, it will be a trade, and not a good trade at that. The T1 top is already dead. There is a tower in danger top lane. It's Tormentor in danger top lane. Perhaps there will be a steal of Tormentors, but again, you're trading down. You're trading a tier 1 and a tier 1 for a tier 1 and a Tormentor for a tier 1, tier 2, and Tormentor. Both teams now go for Tormentors. Lina will TP back. A ballsy play from Rojo. The Nimbus scouted things out. This could be an absolute disaster if they catch him right here, right now. In comes Rojo, looking for the angle with the Tormentor, who grabs it. Dire grab it. They have to last it via Rojo. Scrap will spot things out, and it's running away time. Jim runs in, but the arena's there on 3. The Requiem on the back line as well. Big Kibby from DK. He's fighting, but Eric has gone down, and now Hobbs will roar, yelling at Andy Bendy. They must kill the SF, and they will. Double kill for Beastmaster. Rojo looks for the angle. Dragon Slave kills Beastmaster. Lich goes down. Now a 3-for-2 trade. They'll have for BH and DK. They're both on the run. Both will survive. But the winner is apparent. More kills and more objectives went to the Dire side. They got a free shard for the Oracle. The Radiant Tormentor, by the way, is still alive if you're keeping track. Ultimately, the damage required to kill the Radiant Torm TP'd away to defend the Dire Torn, but it worked out. Now at this point, the situation goes from bad to worse. The game is obviously not over yet, but it's not looking pretty.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Perhaps we can see some pickoffs though. One of this ward is really good. Spot out the Zeus. Not the Zeus. From the Zeus. Spot out the Invoker. Now Jim will attempt to run away. He's being run out by a 3. He'll Nimbus to fight, and now in comes the backup. Lina will blink. Oh my god, the damage! Eric got absolutely blasted! And now Fupo will attempt the TP. Will it work? No, it will not! Rojo is out of control right now. Did you see the damage? Meanwhile, mid lane, SF was absolutely alone, ratting it up. Got brought down by the Legend of DK. But look at that damage! Oh my! I mean, when there's not that much HP on the Invoker and there's that much damage in the Lina, you just die. Oh me, oh my. Unfortunately for the Dire side, though, their win will be delayed by the SF death. His death over there is certainly not ideal. I guess Andy was a little bit too overzealous on his ratting, and
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
it did not pay off this time. Well, Blink Roar comes in from Hobbs, but Fox is there with the save. Tint blinks away. He'll get gazed back by S10. In comes the Dragon Knight as well. Mars will Arena, but in comes Rojo again. Looking to Laguna, but Radiant have their BKBs. They'll run down Tint. It was a costly kill, but a good kill nonetheless. Costing the 2 BKBs a couple good cooldowns, but killing Mars is a fantastic kill, and as a result, you get some more gold infusions, some more XP, 2k experience going back. Certainly helps the game states. But, well, I think we know what time it is. It's time to look at our good friends, Roshan, who is actively top lane. Rojo is here, by the way. He's poking the bear. He is not afraid of the hot stove, apparently. Seems like Roshan will not die topside, though. He'll head bottom. And then when he goes bottom, look who's already bottom. It's Jim and Fox. They've got a ward set up. Are there sentries left? There are 2. Perhaps people will place one around this area. Or perhaps not. Oh, there it is again. So that will be our D ward. But because Roshan was in transit, the entire Dire team are here. And here we go. From the west side comes Rojo. From the north side come the remainder of the team. Tint has been spotted by a Forge Spirit. Roshan has been left alive for now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dire scan. They hit it on Eric. Eric runs away. Now Dragon Knight runs forward. He now runs backwards. We have still yet to see the opening salvo in this fight. Again, neither team is committing. In the vanguard comes Mars and SF. But neither are really going away right now. We're just seeing this sort of retreat maneuver for now. Wait a minute now. So again, we're seeing a bit of a move around towards Roshan. You see DK pop the ulti. He has become the dragon. The boars and the Forge Spirit, it'll scout things out a little bit for the time being. But neither team wants the wrong angle. Now Radiant Smoke as 5. They'll run up the high ground towards the Lotus Pool. And now they'll find a Timpling's away in time. And now Andy mans up. Laguna hits Pupo. Pupo nearly gets one shot by the Rojo Fire Flu. And now Hobbs will blink into BKB. He'll roar towards Rojo. But is there a kill? He's dropping Alina and gets absolutely killed by DK and the Beastmaster and the Invoker's combined damage. And now Tornado will split the Wicked Sunstrike. Scout things out. They see the Mars, who Arena 3. That's fantastic, but where's the damage? It's just not there. SF will bring down the Beastmaster. But now FF's been gazed in. He's got Manta ready to go. The save comes in from Fox 5, the Oracle ulti. But now Zeus is a new target. Zeus has brought down triple kill for Morgan the Dragon Knight. They'll move to SF. SF is dropping. He'll get stunned once again. Sunstrike is not even needed. It's an ultra kill for Snork. And he wants the rampage. He's running forward. The blink. The Sinister Gaze. Give him the rampage. No! Palupo! What are you doing? Either way, that's a full 5-man wipe, a massive team fight win, an absolutely needed victory for Yami fans. Well, back into Roshan we go. Problem is, Roshan is still alive. Roshan has been getting attacked more or less continuously for the last 3.5 minutes. It's torturous for Roshan. Once again, Roshan will die. It will once again be a dead Roche. Aegis will go to Dragon Knight this time, not the Beastmaster. There's a banner on the floor. There's a banner on the floor. Banner, 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 banner. Okay, banner not needed. Eventually, the rating will ask, hey, where's our banner? Did we use it? Did they kill it? Oh! No, Lich! You have the right... Come on. Pit, walk in, walk in. There we go. Good play, good play. I'm happy to grab that. You don't want to pull a Thunder Awaken and just forget your key items in the Roshan pit. Not today, not ever. So, what was a very fantastic game state for the Xiao Pangs has quickly degenerated. I've opened up the graph, but all 3 lines tell the same tale. Net worth, XP, and win probability have all spiked upwards. Bottom lane, Zeus was farming alone, and as a result, he'll be dying alone. The Lich Invoker combo was far too much for him to deal with. Meanwhile, wait a minute, what's Andy Bendy up to? He's thinking about a Requiem, but again, Hobbs ended up walking away in a bad angle for that Requiem, so understandably it was canceled. It's funny though, no matter how much ahead or behind this Xiao Pang's team does, they just keep playing the same way. It's very much a macro-intensive style. They're here to maximize their farm, hit the creeps, hit the creeps, hit the creeps. Well, unsurprisingly, they're hitting more creeps. We see a little bit of saber rattling going on top lane, but neither team truly commits to a kill there. The top tier 2 tower was brought down by the Dragon Knights. And now we head mid. Rojo. He'll take about half of the HP of the Dragon Knight via his combo, but ultimately everyone's fine for now. The tier 2, though, is not fine. That's more brick and mortar destruction at the hands of the Yami fans. Surprise, surprise, it's lane pushing and ratting time. Andy Bendy will look to cut things out right now, perhaps load the top lane. Meanwhile, on the dire side jungle, we're running towards Tints. It'll be a 3v3, though. This could go very badly. The Mars will die. Oh, wait a minute. So if the Dire knew what we knew, they would have committed to that 3v3 fight, but they didn't know that the Invoker and the Beastmaster were not there. They did not have the vision that we had. As a result, they were wary to commit, thinking it would be a 3v5. Instead, they did not go for the fight. That would have been a 3v3. You can't fault them for that. There's no way for them to have known there would actually be a straight 3v3 there. Blink in by Eric, blink away by Rojo. And perhaps we're headed high grounds. Tier 3 is in a lot of danger. There's an Alacrity Dragon hitting your buildings. And the buildings are not taking it too well. Melees and range racks both have actually, sorry, the melees are alive. The range racks are dead. For now, though, they'll attempt to defend the melee racks. Rojo blinks in. He'll LSA the DK, but DK, via the Glimmer Cape, gets away. The Nimbus on the floor. Roshan's banner as well. Blink Roar from Hobbs. But he gives an arena. That's fantastic from Tint. Tint is already dead, though, is the problem. Hobbs nearly goes down, and now Mars will buy back into the game. DK is slow. Beastmaster is slow, but nobody's dying. EMP's on the floor looking for Jim. Jim gets away for the time being. Rojo will now walk in looking for Eric, but Eric is still alive. Blink in, blink away. In return, though, it means that Invoker remains alive, and now Radiant are on the retreat. Low on resources, but instead, DK blinks over for the Oracle. Oracle get brought down by the Daedalus Seeker, but no! It's a stick and a wand to save from Fox. Meanwhile, Eric brought down by Andy Bay on the south side. Up to the north side, once again, it's Tint, who bought back into the game, being killed by a Chain Frost. He's about to die, now he's dead. It's a dieback on the Mars. So it's once again a 4v4. SF looks on the south side. Oh, Requiem. This will be fantastic. It'll fear away too. But it's a blinking again with the DK to bring down Zeus. Laguna Therian, the Lich. The Lich is brought down. Now SF will fight DK. DK, Satanic's up, but he can't hit. He's disarmed with the Oracle. The LSA hits the DK. DK is brought down once again. Double kill for the Shadow Fiend. And now we're running away on the Beastmaster and the Bounty Hunter. There's nothing to do but run. Lena will pursue. Can she find the Beastmaster? Perhaps she will. Laguna's up once again in 2 seconds. The roar is used. In come the cavalry. But Lena's alone for the time being. LSA's perfect from Rojo! What a fantastic LSA! It hit both targets absolutely perfectly. And now Plupa will attempt to run. Can he get away? He's being hunted. There's the E-Blade. There's the kill. That's a full 5-man wipe. And look at the base. Oh no, the base. It's not having fun. SF will run. And now Invoker blinks in. SF will use the Manta. Oracle will ulti the SF. SF is gazed in. Sunstrike hits Fox. Fox will die very, very soon, it appears. Perhaps not. Andy ends up dying instead. They focus their efforts on the SF kill. SF dies as a result. Oracle gets away. So it cost you 2 buybacks. One on the Lich, one on the Bounty Hunter. And now, oh no, Jim once again jumped on forward. And he's dead again. Plupo secures the kill there. So, we now see Equilibrium in the Dire's favor. They have the full the full set of rags mid lane to only arrange racks that they've lost. Jim once again is upset at his own heavenly jump usage, clearly. What can you do? It is remarkably, though, how even the economy situation is. Again, it's a less than a 1k lead once again. Oh, looked like Dire were going to walk away easily with the win. Then perhaps it looked like those Radiant who were in the driver's seat. But now it's once again a very even game state. perhaps I would favor the Dire, but only barely. And well, I think we know what time it is. I think we know what time it is. It's time for teams to run towards the Roshan pit. We're in the Roshan respawn window. It's approximately a middle of the road respawn time, about 9 minutes. I don't know, 9 minutes 30 or so. So naturally, both teams will scout it out, but for the time being, we're not killing Roshan because Roshan's dead. And he's late to the party. From the Dire Tri-Camp,
Tower is under attack.
perhaps comes a smoke. They're grouped like they're going to smoke. And we're now... Notice that they... okay, here we go. We're scouting out Thunder God's Wrath. That gives a very good idea that the Radiant are congregated near the Roshan pits. You see the rear guard in the trees, though, hiding, trying to have a good angle on this fight. Meanwhile, the Dire side wrap around on the west side. Looking at Radiant Vision, they see nothing. Look at Dire Vision, they see nothing. So nobody knows anything but the viewers and me, who have Omni Vision. And now, they saw the projectiles in the Dragon Slave. They know Lena's over here somewhere, but they don't know where exactly.
Are scanning.
Wait a minute, look at this! So Radiant are in the Roshan pit. Roshan's alive, but look at his rat play. It's so sneaky. They're gonna hit the base. It's a Desolator Shadow Fiend. They're TPing that. It's too late. Oh, what a maneuver! The rat play. Tornado hits too. This may cost two people their lives. DK grabs the Aegis Chain Faust. Will bounce around. Rojo drops the Laguna Blade. Nobody's dead yet. Oracle ulti will save the Zeus. And now, with all the Roshan goodies, Radiant have returned to their base. Refresher, Banner, Cheese, Aegis have all been grabbed, I think. Never mind, Cheese is... So 2 Roshans in a row, they forgot something in there. And again, this time it's the Cheese. That is in the Roshan pit. So, there's a 5-minute window where if you, on the Yami fans side, are playing... You really want to grab some stuff. You just grabbed all the Roshan goodies. So you're going to want to take some base. They're hunting Jim right now. Let's look at buyback status. Who has buyback? A lot of heroes do, including the Zeus, who might die very soon. But for now, the main body of the Radiant are in middle... Oh, middle lane. But look at that rune. Look at the rune. It's a blue rune. An amplified damage rune for Dragonites. What a fortuitous rune for him to get! And he is here to hit buildings. Meanwhile, bottom lane, we're seeing a little bit of Rat Dota. Top lane, we're seeing a little bit of Rat Dota as well. This is one hell of a tightrope to walk on right now if you are Yami fans. There's a win condition in there, but it's hard to find. They'll siege S4. Blink in by Snalork. In comes Rojo with the LSA. Netherrax die. The DD rune is purged by Fox. And now Dire RS5. Radiant retreat, having grabbed the half racks they could not finish earlier in retreat fully. So you still have time for at least one more proper siege. That's 3 minutes on the Aegis, plenty of time to work with. But again, it's almost half of the time lost. If you're Xiao Pangs, you're fine with that. You say, you know what? In the macro sense, we grabbed the bottom racks, and all we lost was a refresher shard in a mid rack. They're probably fine with that. So, in that regard, I think we're going to see another play soon. Is there a smoke left? Yes, there is on Bounty Hunter. So perhaps that'll be the name of the game: is smoke up and do something wild and crazy. Megas are possible. Throne is possible. For now, though, again, we're minding the lanes. Obviously, this bottom lane is a problem lane. It's going to have natural equilibrium towards the Radiant base, thanks to, again, these dead racks here. But because you see heroes in the bottom lane, it's going to be an interesting situation. You could twin gate on DK to the top lane, because top lane there's stuff breaking out right now. Lincoln's on Lena was broken by the track. Nimbus has been used perhaps to reposition. For now, though, neither team wants to blow their load too early. They're being patient with their arsenals. Are there any gems right now? No, there are not. Whoa, blinking by Eric! He hexes the Mars, and then Biggie needs to run away. In comes Rojo, Ella saying that you'll barely miss Hobbs. And now, the Requiem hits the Beastmaster. Beastmaster going out BKB, looking for a roar, perhaps. Manta comes in from the SF, not the Oracle. In Arena is there on 3. Chain Frost is bouncing. The Meteor flies. The Mars has fallen. Oracle is not far behind. And Mars has no buyback. Meanwhile, the SF dies once the Oracle ulti ended. All the way over here on the west side. And notice, SF has no buyback. Rojo goes for a hero play. Tries to kill the Beastmaster, but he's in the middle of the Dragonite. He's going to end up going down here. And he's dead. Meanwhile, we see Zeus again going for the hero play, trying to pick up the wave. He couldn't do so. Oh no! Have Xiao Pang fumbled the win? Have they fumbled their upper bracket lives, perhaps? In come 2 buybacks, Zeus and Oracle. Lena has one, but Mars and SF do not. And DK still has 2 lives for a few more seconds. He's got a refresher too, so Edith will expire. He'll refresh the DK ulti, and they go for Lena! They caught her! They caught her! She'll be me! They're trying to fight! Oracle, you'll save for the time being! Rojo's positioning around, looking to do every damage he can, but he's doing nothing! He's being kited! The tier 4 is under attack. One tier 4 is dead. Rojo again will LSA the DK. They need to kill this man. Eric will BKB, clicking forward. In comes Hobbs. The Roar's on cooldown, but they're still kiting Rojo. Meanwhile, DK finds the Zeus. Mars is respawned. The arena's there on 2. Back to Rojo. He's fighting Hobbs. Back to Tints. He's still in his own arena. The throne, though, is half HP. They're focusing. Lena's fighting. There's your glyph. The throne, it's still alive. There's a save from Fox. One more Orc ulti. Andy is respawned. He's got limited souls. The throne's still half HP. Lift is dropping. EMP on the floor. Double go for Tints. The throne's still living. They're going on the DK. His BKB's on cooldown. He's got Satanic. Can he live? No, he can't. And we're leaving the base. LSA hits the Invoker. Buyback from DK. They've caught Eric. They're going to kill the Invoker. Does he have buyback? I believe he does. But he's still alive! They kept him alive! It's Tinder dies instead. Fox goes down. They're counting Rojo. He's running DP. It's canceled by Eric. There's a tornado. There's nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Simply death for Mr. Fire Flu. And now it will only be Mars in the base. You cannot defend 1v5. Yami fans, they will even it out. They'll take game 2, and we'll have a 1-1 draw. Whew. Had to catch my breath there. One hell of a long sequence at the very end. Ooh, my. So, we have a tie. Good Twink Hunting have 5 wins. Yami fans have 5 wins. The Badgers Xiao Pangs have 5 wins. Uh-oh. I don't quite know what that means, but that sounds like Mattior's problem. There are 115 messages in the admin chat. Oh, why are there 115 messages in the admin chat? I don't want to read 115 messages. Uh. uh. Either way, congratulations to Yami fans on their fantastic Game 2 comeback win. This is really a game of Dota 2 right here. I mean, this is if this is not what you're looking for, then I don't know what is. Look at these lines. If you're seeing these lines on like a heart monitor, somebody's about to die. So, that's how you know it's a good Dota game. When it's a lethal heartbeat looking lines. Oh man, beautiful game. It's fantastic play from both sides. Ultimately, the Xiao Pangs you would expect would have had the late game edge, just could not finish the game off. Perhaps the builds were not what they're looking for. Perhaps the play was not what they're looking for. But again, back to the drawing board. Perhaps there's playoffs, of course, in their future. Um, yeah. I think I'm tired. I think I'm gonna wrap the stream up. I don't I don't really want to I don't really have much more to say after that one. That was fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to see for our final game of the group stage. And I believe there are no more games going on right now. I believe the other series have all wrapped up, so yeah, I'm gonna go say thank you to the viewers, of course, for tuning on in tonight for this 1-1 draw between Badgers Xiao Pangs and the Yami fans. Thanks to Cool Hands in particular for the sub, if he's still there. I'll be back. Assuming my throat is recovered, I'll be back Tuesday nights. There's absolutely no way I can cast tomorrow. I'm absolutely shot after this last 3 days. But I'll see you on Tuesday night for that series between Funny Zone and Mellow Fellows. I should be good by then. I'll have like 48 hours to recover, more or less. Should be enough time to recover. But yeah, as always, to viewers, I'm a cast your games, cast your tournaments. You know where to find me. Contact me on Discord, Badger Pablo on Discord, or over on twitter.com/Badger Dota 2. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great night.